Welcome everybody to the. God damn it! I already fucked it up.
Yeah, you did. You should leave that in, though.
I should leave that in. Welcome everybody to the Lesser Known People podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. KY, aka Kyle. We've got Ryan, Big Cat, Ryan the Lion out here doing roars, being big. We got Justin cruising the streets, J Money, always getting the ladies, and then there's Connor, the coat rack, to hang folks up. Sean, the magic carpet ride, is currently absent. When he gets done, I don't even know what, saving someone from being deported? Is that what he's doing? Is he full Babu from Seinfeld right now? Is that what's happening?
Hotel Rwanda, yeah. He's
That's what, Hotel Shonda. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Hotel Roshonda.
He would think he could do that. That's wonderful. Yeah, so hopefully he joins us later. Today, I've got lined up Mr. Marc Cohn. He is a well-known musician. So you may recognize the name. He's a singer-songwriter, and he did write the song "Walking in Memphis."
Incredible. I've heard that one. Yeah.
You've heard now. I will say up front in the episode, Ryan is going to be incredibly pedantic because he knows this entire story. So let's just say that.
My favorite rendition of "Walking in Memphis" is a version that the guard used to sing when I was in prison. He would walk past my cell, like humming "Walking in Memphis," and I would like, hey, and I would like out of my feed tray as like a shitty prisoner, like, can you come back here and sing that to me until I fall asleep? And he would.
He would.
He would stick his face in my feed tray and sing as I fell asleep.
Now let me ask you this: how was the voice? How was the acoustics?
Fantastic. When you're in a 12x8 masturbatorium, the reverberation off the walls goes straight into your soul.
This guy, he's a canary in the coal mine, right? He is there, keeping guard, keeping watch, but singing everybody lovely tunes.
Beautiful tunes.
Beautiful.
Fucked up face though. Yeah, it's like the most fucked up speaker you could possibly imagine.
Well, I'm glad that he was able to bring you joy with Marc Cohn's song "Walking in Memphis." You know,
and it does sound like Disney will probably write the screenplay for that very shortly.
Yeah. He'll be like a grotesque sort of Hunchback Notre Dame kind of figure.
I'm just a prison guard with a beautiful voice.
Just dulcet tones flying out of his fucking gross mouth. Just love it.
The one item I want to preface, Marc Cohn, I don't understand how he wasn't one of the biggest stars on the planet. I think the guy has a load of talent. The rest goes to KY and his phenomenal storytelling.
Now, if you've heard the original Walking in Memphis, because it's been covered by Cher, it's been covered by those assholes Lone Star. I mean,
those guys are great too. Come on.
No, they are good, and that was actually I will own this up front. 90s, early 2000s was Kyle grew up on country, and a little bit of pop country was still in the mix in high school. Now, that being said, when I think they did Walking in Memphis in like 2003 or some shit like that, and I was like, Lone Star did, and I was like, oh wow, like this is actually a pretty legit song.
Because they were one-hit wonders themselves. They had Amazed, so yeah.
Yeah, and they did a greatest hits after like one album. Who are you, Lone Star?
Yeah.
I went down some rabbit holes on this, and I was like, why did Lone Star's second album be greatest hits? Isn't it just your first album again? I don't understand. So Marc Cohn wrote this. It was released in 91. I don't know any of that production shit by who and what was it released by, but it was his first and biggest hit. No question. He had another one out there. I don't really know what it was.
His only top 40s, I believe. So
yeah, his only top 40. He had another song on the same album that did okay. I can tell you, the last time I went walking in Memphis, somebody in a large truck called me a queer for wearing skinny jeans. And that's how I walk in Memphis. You know what I mean? I don't know people's experiences are different. I think Mark's was different. He had a different experience, but that happened. That's real. So
we've all heard that song a lot, and he does not reference anyone calling him a queer.
No, it doesn't happen. I didn't. Yeah. I was looking for it.
Well, KY, when you take a man your size and shove them into skinny jeans.
Don't make it seem like I'm fucking 400 pounds or something like that.
What he's referencing is KY is tall. KY is very built. He's a very built.
I was at the time. I was a a shambly 230, maybe 220.
He's a very built person.
KY Jelly looks like a fucking lumberjack wearing skinny jeans. No wonder you got called a queer in Memphis, Tennessee.
Honestly, that is a legitimate, like, true story. I was walking with my mother, and some guy was just like something. It was all I heard was skinny jeans, and then queer. I was like, what?
What?
And then KY turned around with his flat bill hat and his rainbow necklace and said, "Nuh-uh."
I'll fucking fight you, dude. No, my mom looked at me and was like, where's the quilt store? I don't. No. Mom,
So the one time you go to Memphis, there is someone in a truck in passing. You are wearing skinny jeans, which for whoever finds this podcast in a time capsule in 2020, whatever year this was. What year was this?
It was high school it was just after high school. So like 20, not 20. It was back in the aughts.
07, let's say. 07.
Yep.
Skinny jeans are of the style for those of you who discover this podcast in a time capsule.
That's right. You're welcome. Okay. Actually, it was bold of me, and they were so cheap that they stained my legs blue. So I took a bullet and probably some form of skin cancer in order to pull off those skinny jeans.
Skin cancer, fashionista, trendsetter.
Yeah.
You know what, KY, I've seen your skinny jeans. They're so tight you can see your asshole. That's why you got called a queer in Memphis.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't like to brag. I don't have much up front, so I got to show off the back. You know what I mean? Like, I got to show what I got. And if I got a sweet balloon knot and I want you to see it, it's my version of cleavage.
For those of you who discover this in a time capsule, he has a giant cock. Okay, he has a giant cock compared to whatever you have in the future. You people have some tiny penis.
I've got that history kind of 1/16 going on. You know, that furry button kind of thing. That's all I've got. Back to Mr. Marc Cohn. So he writes Walking in Memphis. He's on tour for a while. He's doing this whole thing, right? If you have an opportunity, I would suggest watching the music video to this, because it is like painfully the 90s. Now, remember too, current day and any future, anybody a little bit younger, you got to remember when a decade changes over, and especially during the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, there was a weird transition period at the very beginning. So there was like hang-ons from the 80s, which yes, I was born in, but no, I have no fucking clue what was going on because I was like 3. He's wearing what appears to be some sort of velvet or felt vest over a collarless dress-up shirt, and I don't know what you guys know what I mean. No, they button in the front, but there's no collar. It looks like he has that going on.
It was like they didn't know quite what they wanted to follow. Do we still do the 80s thing? Is there something going on in the 90s that we should be aware of? And then let's just incorporate both. That's fine.
Right, and then there was a pea coat and lots of wind. I don't know where they filmed this. I assume in Nashville, but they had to get every fan and every smoke machine in the fucking tri-state area, because everywhere this guy went, it was like freaking San Francisco, just foggy, windy, a mess. And his long curve.
I've never been down there. There's no wind at all in Tennessee whatsoever, so it was kind of magical.
Yeah, it was an incredible day because there's no fucking wind. It's just stilted, humid heat constantly. Definitely go check it out. It's a lovely video, and it is 100% black and white, which is even better.
Oh, I love that. Like, you don't need to worry about like developing contrast. You just have just black and white. We're gonna make this real simple. We're on a budget. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You know, I do remember like that transition from 99 to 2000. And what I remember is like being like a 13-year-old at that time. And I remember the girls then, and I've gone back and I've like read. I had to like read something for like some college fucking course I was taking that. Let me know where, because I sell construction now. Doesn't mean anything. No college degree needed, gentlemen. And there's like some sociology class I was taking, and they were showing pictures from like 2004. And I'm looking at like the midriff shirts in like the tight jeans with bell bottoms still.
Oh yeah.
Like the 70s showed up and was like, fuck it, we're taking over. Early 2000s, 70s, we're here, we're cool. Which is what the 80s is doing today, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we're basically back to the 80s, just minus the teased hair. I mean, the makeup is 80s. You know, it's the bold makeup. It's everything super tight. I will say, low-rise jeans are still they are anchored in my brain as a Kyle's interested. I'm having a look if I see some low-rise jeans.
I need to be able to see what you got going on, and now I'm here.
When I find a girl my age, like these days, and like the first thing I want to know, do you have a tramp stamp? You do? Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fuck.
She is #too real. She's like, you know what? You embrace that 2000 switch very well, very sexual.
I want it to seem like you have lower back hair. Like that's how much of a lower like tramp stamp I want to see.
Oh God.
I met one of those girls a couple weeks ago. Her name was Jessica with a K. That's how you know she was born in the same era we were. Not only did she have a tramp stamp, but she had a tattoo above both titties, right? It was like faith and chaos, 2 titties.
on both tits she had that?
Yeah, neither of them made sense. It was stupid. That tells you the types of women I've been finding.
We can't just go through and destroy these girls from your roster. Like it's not. No.
I don't think that's fair.
Look, I'll tell you right now. Like every girl that I've ever met and I've had sex with and I've had an intimate relationship with, they are, no matter how ugly, impoverished, daddy issues, they're infinitely better than me.
Oh, stop. Okay.
No.
Does that sound sarcastic? Because it was.
Good. Like, I need everyone listening to know Justin is a wonderful person. He's a great guy.
Yeah, so I'm not going to run this one by her, by the way.
Well, why don't we just move on? So anyway, back to Marc Cohn. He was given a lot of, I'm gonna say credit for being Jewish, but singing about Southern gospel, Elvis, kind of this Americana song. Like he got a lot of. It was well received in obviously on the charts and all that stuff. But when some people found out he was Jewish, namely the commenters a single page down on YouTube, they never let you forget it. I would say go watch the music video, take about 3 scrolls down with your mouse, and there are some very anti-Semitic things going on in those comments. It's a little unforgivable.
Hey, I don't know how a guy named Cohen's talking about all this cross stuff. Didn't they kill Jesus?
Yeah, he doesn't even know who Jesus is.
They threw rocks at him on the cross.
It was like somebody said like the term Jewfro got thrown around a lot pretty quickly.
Oh my God.
And I was because when I watched the music video, I didn't know he was Jewish. I was just appreciating the excellent art. I was going through and tearing apart the 90s stuff, and then I scrolled down and it's like Jewfro over and over again.
Fair. There is no actual censorship on YouTube. That is what I have discovered. People can say whatever the fuck they desire to say. You're allowing literally everything. There is full freedom of speech here, with the exception of outright explicit threats.
I have a question though. So I have never seen the Marc Cohn video. Does he have a Jufro or not?
He kind of does. He
has a little bit of a
He does have lovely curling hair. It's receding a little bit. As a man who struggles follically, I recognize that he is receding a tiny bit. But he has like the long sort of like almost mullet. I was too cool to get a haircut for a year. Kind of into the 90s look.
It's very artist of 91.
Yeah. With the pea coat and the blowing and the hair, you're like, there's a certain curly bounce to it that most would probably consider a Jufro. I'm just gonna say.
That's the time you're teasing hair.
So this video, this Marc Cohn was around 1 year. Like I remember the song "Walking in Memphis," but in my mind, this is something that came out like much earlier than the 90s. But I guess it came out in the 90s.
Yeah, it was
91 that transition.
Yeah,
anything that comes out 90, 91, you still associate kind of 80s.
Mr. Marc Cohn and his band, they on August 7th, 2005, they're playing in Denver. And they're playing at the Denver Botanic Gardens. After the concert, they're packing up, totally normal. They walk out to their van, and it was a van. I was like, not a limo, not harassed by panty throwers anywhere.
91 to 2005. You have no fucking groupies at that point.
Exactly. So he's I don't want to say limping it, but he's cashing in on his moments of freedom. There's moments of fame. And they definitely kept calling it a venue and not an arena, not a stadium. None of that.
So that's how you
people.
know this was, what Connor just said. There were 23 people at most there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is out there getting Bush if he needs it. Now he's married to Jessica Vargas or Vargas. TV newswoman. She's on like ABC. She was a big deal actually back there. She
was the anchor. Yeah, she was lead anchor for a few years.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? I know the song "Walking in Memphis." Like I can quote almost the whole song.
Yeah.
I didn't know who Marc Cohn was until tonight.
He's just, again, I want to go back. This is a man who is so talented, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that I don't know how he wasn't a bigger star.
I mean, quite seriously. So I did mean to go and listen to some of the discography that he's got going on, just some of the different albums and hits that he's had. All the makings are there, right? Like he wrote the song by himself. Yep. He's the only one credited on writing it. He obviously performed it. He sang it. He did the music for it. I think he is credited with doing the keyboard piano for it, but he wrote the entire thing, and it's like, all right, well, he's a full-fledged artist. He's not having other people write the song, and he's just performing all this other jazz. But so August 7th, 2005, they're leaving the Denver Botanic Gardens. All 23 people in attendance are rushing his van as they're heading back to the hotel. That's not true. So they pack up, him and the whole band, manager, everybody's it's going into one van, so that tells you.
If your manager's in the same van as you, you are small time. You are small time.
You are small time, yeah. If you're all packing into an Eco Line, a Ford Eco Line, that's a 15-seater, and you're hauling your own fucking speakers, yeah, dude, you hit your cusp,
I know the last gig me and Ryan drove to was to his sister's house, and all the gear was thrown in the back of my truck.
We had 2 cars that night.
We were 2 cars that night, so we were actually better than Marc Cohn, quite frankly. Do you know what I mean? And that's disrespect to Marc Cohn. He deserves more.
You guys are true performers, absolutely.
Sincerely, there are many times Kyle has put up with me babbling about just absolute bullshit in things I'm interested in, and he has just endeared. That's how I know he's such a true friend. He's just, oh yeah.
I will always practice my active listening because I can see how passionate you are, and I want to absolutely validate all the stuff you're saying.
That's so weird. That's so weird.
We're not even to the cool part of Marc Cohn yet.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I heard it. Tell me about Marc Cohn.
So Marc Cohn and his band are headed out to their 40 Econoline van, chock full of their own shit. Having hauled it themselves, sweaty and tired. I made that part up. After the concert, and literally they all get in when, out of nowhere, a man steps in front of their van. Tom Dubé, the tour manager, stops. He hits the brakes after they go about 2 feet. The guy just literally fires a shot into the van.
Oh, shit.
Unprovoked. Literally shoots just one shot into the van.
So they're driving down the road. This is just from my understanding. Not a joke here. They're driving down the road. Some man steps in front of the Astro van that they're driving from gig to gig. That was a joke. Sorry. And someone steps in front of them, pulls a gun, fires one singular shot into the van.
From the news reports and his interviews and stuff, they didn't get very far. So this guy probably saw them all get into the van and was like, "All right, cool. I'm just gonna carjack this van."
Okay, so this was probably still like in the parking lot when this happened.
Exactly.
They're like driving down the road.
Yeah, they weren't going like 35 and this guy stepped out. They rolled forward like 10 feet or something. This guy took his foot off the gas or off the brake, and then this random guy just steps out in front of them, and they're like, "What the hell?" Boom, shot fired in the van. Mark recalls shouting "duck" just before the shot was fired because they saw his arm kind of bring something up, and so he yells "duck" maybe before the bullet was fired, and the bullet came right through the windshield and hit Cohn in the head. So at this point he is shot in the fucking head. Tom Dubé, he's the tour manager. He was driving. It hit his arm, so it grazed him and blasted Mark on the side of the fucking head. So Tom said of the experience, there wasn't any time to react to that. Before I knew it, he aimed and he fired the shot, which I knew came through the windshield because I heard broken glass. Yeah, like I said, it hit Cohn in the head. But at the time, there's a little bit of pandemonium, and all they know is that, Tom feels like something kind of hit him, and Mark is kind of just like a little confused and knows that something crazy has happened, right? So, and the giveaway there is Marc Cohn's not dead. And he didn't even lose consciousness from this, though. He definitely should have. So, the bullet grazes, it grazes Doobie's arm, right? It hits Cohen in the side of the head, like kind of just behind his temple, but in front of his ear, kind of in that hard spot. He didn't realize that he'd been shot in the head. So he actually, at one point, grabs Tom, the driver and the tour manager. He grabs his arm where it's bleeding, and then he grabs the wheel and asks him if he's okay.
Not knowing that he's been shot in the head.
Yeah, kind of not fully realizing that he had been shot in the head.
So when I was in Iraq, there was a guy who got shot in the head, and as soon as he got shot in the head, he was dead as fuck. This is nothing like that. I can't make jokes about that on this one.
I mean,
please don't cut that. I think it's a good one.
we can communicate to the audience that Justin's experience of being near someone when shot in the head has been vastly different from the band members of Marc Cohn.
Colorado and Iraq are a little bit different.
The problem is that I thought the joke, so Marc Cohn wasn't sitting shotgun, was going to be a bad joke. I saw somebody get shot in the head once.
He doesn't realize he got shot.
He doesn't realize he gets shot. He's kind of like weirdly trying to help Tom out because they're both in the front seat. And he thinks that the car is kind of,
He's a nice guy. He's caring about his manager, Tom Dubé.
He realizes at some point that he is bleeding profusely from the side of his head. Like, obviously, he can feel the blood running down and stuff. And he kind of put his head in his hands, and he realized it was like dripping into his actual hands. And he's like, fuck, this is not Tom's blood. This is definitely my blood. One of the other band members, and keep in mind, right after this happened, so the bullet comes through the windshield, all the shit's going down. Tom hit the gas, and they just fucking bolted, right? I mean, I don't know what else you would do because you don't want to hang around, but like, it's not like they got shot and they were like, oh my gosh, is everyone okay? Let's just take a beat. The fucking guy, Tom, was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Boom, hits it, and they're leaving, which is why that's why Marc Cohn was kind of grabbing for the wheel and his arm and stuff. And he's like, they're kind of, he didn't know if they were running out of control or not.
Stress combat driving at that point. Yeah.
Right. And, pandemonium's kind of going on. They don't know what the fuck's happening. They just left all 23 of those fans in the lurch, who knows what's going on with them. So they're screaming down the road. One of the other band members, after a few seconds, sees kind of Mark kind of touch his head, and he looks at his head and he sees the hole in the side of his head, like a perfectly round hole, just whoop, sitting in the side of his head. Obviously confused by this. He's like, bullet came through the windshield, bullet went into Mark's head. Mark's not dead.
Yeah, that's really confusing.
Yeah, they drive to the nearest hospital or whatever, and Mark was awake the whole time, and he was essentially going into shock. I mean, he was having a panic attack the whole time and just saying, every breath could be my last. He doesn't know why he's not dead. Once he and everybody else kind of realized that he was the one who was probably the most hurt, like, why aren't I dead? What's going on? The doctor who treated Mark said, I suspect the bullet actually struck the skull, obviously. Not with enough velocity to fracture it, but enough to stop it. Any more velocity could have fractured the skull, and another centimeter or two through the skull would have been directly into the brain. The bullet itself was, in fact, lodged in his skull. So it wasn't like it grazed him and he just, kind of cut his scalp, which is still scary as fuck. But it literally struck his skull, stopped just short of penetrating his actual skull, but not enough to actually break it, fracture it, and do the whole thing.
Holy shit.
He was literally very, very close to just randomly getting shot in the fucking head after a concert.
And maybe you're going to go into this, KY, but who was this fucking dude?
Yeah, so two things. One is that the doctors were able to remove the bullet that night. He went into surgery, right? And he was released 8 hours later. That's it.
That's a quick-ass recovery.
Yeah, and so when you have a huge star like Marc Cohn, a good 14 years after his
2005, we cannot tell you how huge of a star he was.
Yeah, massive.
91. Yeah.
He's got his fans are outside the hospital. They're beating down the doors to see if he's okay.
All 21 fans are outside of the hospital.
You rush this guy back and get him into surgery. He's number one, priority one.
Yeah, like even the insurance company, they're the first ones there to replace the window on that Chevy Astro van.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you remember this from the commercials back in the day. It's the van that can.
Oh,
I do remember that.
yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Chevy, the heartbeat of America. Thank you, Chevy. You're welcome.
Thank you. Oh, did you just thank it and welcome it? So I definitely imagine this was just one of those 15-passenger like Ford Econoline vans, right? Not that it couldn't have been an Astro. They actually didn't specify. And all I could think of was the Enterprise agent who's kind of like, figure out what the
Well,
fuck.
there's blood in my van, so what the fuck am I supposed to do? You're Marc Cohn, but you don't make shit money because you had a hit like 15 years ago, you asshole.
I just imagine one of like the lesser known band members, like some guy, some bassist or the drummer or something, covered in Mark's blood, turns his Econoline van into the Enterprise guy and is like, yeah, bro, somebody shot the fucking windshield. We got the insurance, so we're out of here.
I don't know what to tell you. We had the insurance, but at the same time we got shot, and there's blood all over the seats.
Everywhere.
You know what I mean? I'm just the bassist, so I was pretty far away from what was happening, but like it was serious.
Yeah, and of course the Enterprise guy is like, well, you didn't turn it in with a full tank, so we're gonna have to charge you $120.
We're gonna charge you for the tank, but the blood's okay. I can reupholster. That's fine.
Blood's fine. We're gonna charge you $7 a gallon to fill this fucker up. So
right.
Sorry about your luck.
And it works well with the cigarette smoke that's in every single car you rent here. So.
Yeah. Guaranteed, if Marc Cohn did any sort of walking in Memphis, he picked up smoking while he was in Memphis.
No question, yeah. I'm walking in Memphis. This is a fucking nightmare.
I wonder what the walking in Memphis would look like with a bullet lodged in your skull.
Yeah.
Is it more like shuffling in Memphis after that?
Probably somehow better. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't hear like the hate spiel behind you from all the Tennesseans driving by.
Yeah, you can't hear the lifted trucks and the ignorance. It seems to be.
So he went from clearly walking in Memphis to a shooting in Denver.
Well, that's the thing. We're talking all this shit about Memphis, but some asshole in Denver is the one who fucking shot him. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
That might be the best joke of this whole fucking thing. From walking in Memphis to a shooting in Denver.
You have your hits wherever you find them.
That's the pilgrimage, though. You got to take 14 years to walk from Memphis to Denver to get shot in the head.
Shot in the head. Look at me. I'm famous. Oh, I'm shot now. Damn.
Well, let's be clear. Like, Marc Cohn has never been famous.
Oh, poor Marc Cohn.
But just because he's been shot in the head doesn't make him famous, okay?
Mark, if you're listening, I have said repeatedly, you should be a much bigger star. You're infinitely talented. And all the incredible gentlemen on this podcast believe the same.
Yeah, I do. I love Walking Memphis. It's a really great song, but Marc Cohn, your reaction time sucks.
I was thinking when he said duck, I mean, real life circumstance, I would have been shot through my fucking mouth. Because I'd have been like, that guy's got a gun.
No question. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. At least he turned his head. Anybody else who's a fucking mook would have just been shot right in the mouth. So who the fuck shot Marc Cohn in the head and literally walks up to a van, shoots it, and just fucking walks away? Like that's a weird thing to do.
I feel like this dude is walking from Memphis to shoot Marc Cohn in the head.
Is this the guy who wanted his like $5 back?
Oh, could be. Yeah.
The cover charge.
I didn't know this was the main band. I hate it. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go get my revolver and shoot this mother effer in the head.
Yeah. So outside of walking in Memphis, what other shit did Marc Cohn do?
He professionally got shot in the head and didn't die. What have you done today?
Yeah, I mean it's he just had the one hit. It was a very good one-hit wonder. But we all know that song because you hear that in any bar you go into.
That's right.
And again, one more time, Mark, if you're listening, we do think you're infinitely talented. You just need to not get shot in the head. Do you know what I mean? You need to avoid getting shot in the head.
Yeah, I think Mark needs to work on his camouflage cover and concealment while also maintaining he's got some that song Walking in Memphis is really a great song. I love it. It's just don't get shot in the head so much, man.
Yeah. Do your best not to get shot in the head all the time.
Like every time you sit down, just sit an inch to the left.
He knows that now. That's a hard learned lesson.
Yeah.
That's so hard. You don't want to go into surgery because you've been shot in the head. That's what I think.
So the alternatives are don't get shot or just die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Joseph Yakteen. Weirdest last name. I don't know what it is. Yakteen. 26 years old at the time, is the aggressor in this scenario. Joseph Yakteen looks like he looks like if SpongeBob SquarePants was a person, it would be Joseph Yakteen.
I have that image popped in my head so fucking.
That was a vicious image of this person.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like and quite honestly, looks like a fucking idiot. And not just because he shot Marc Cohn in the head. So he got in a single round here, and we'll get into it. He was charged with this crime, along with 18 other counts of criminal activity.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. What are these other crimes, you know?
So in total, with this whole thing, the Marc Cohn incident, he's charged with 19 counts, including attempted first-degree murder with extreme indifference, which basically means when you walk in front of a barely moving van and fire a single shot into it.
Because you're just angry at the van.
Yeah, extreme indifference means shooting a single shot into a barely moving van full of people, chock full of people.
Well, maybe he was just, fuck it, man. Maybe he's like a disgruntled Ford worker. He sees his Astro van riding around, fucking loaded for bear, and he just steps in front of it, fires a single round into it, not at anyone in there, just at the van itself. You know what I mean?
I'm mad at the idea, not the people, and I'll shoot around.
Yep. Turns out you still go to jail for that. So.
Oh, you still go to? Okay, I'll keep that.
Yep.
I get that, but I think it's bullshit. But okay.
I'm actually on Joseph's side all of a sudden. Why is it you always turn the asshole into the hero every time?
Because I've been to prison, and I understand what it's like to be in that position.
Anyway, so Yakteen was charged with 19 counts, including attempted first-degree murder with extreme indifference, the van shooting, second-degree assault, probably also the van shooting, aggravated robbery, and menacing in connection with the shooting.
All right, so all those things sound good until you get to menacing. It's like menacing.
Extreme indifference. Those are very much oxymorons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He could have probably worded that better. We obviously understand what they mean, but it's like
I'm sure it's some sort of legal term or legal definition.
Oh, and no question. Yeah.
It's also like Colorado, so these laws have been on the books since 1860.
Yeah.
So
prior Civil War. This is antebellum era. Yeah.
Colorado's that weird center part of America where it's kind of the West and kind of not the West at the same time. So after Robert Ford murdered Jesse James, he ran away to Colorado.
Wild West of Colorado.
That's where he was just going to hang out for the rest of his life. Of course, until he was murdered himself. Which is why you get these folks Yakteen?
Yakteen.
But if you're, guys, to be fair, if you're going to be an assassin, you got to have a weird name. Okay, let's look at who shot Robert Kennedy. Weird name.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oswald.
I thought it's 3 names. You got to have 3 names.
Well, no, so Lee Harvey Oswald was his brother. That's John F. Robert was oh my God, Sirhan? I can't remember what the exact. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Weird name.
Joseph Yakteen doesn't quite cut the mustard because he didn't kill anyone. And
he didn't. So I'm sorry.
He didn't even kill anyone that was that famous. He just randomly shot a van that he saw. I guess what bothers me so much is that he definitely saw the van loading up with minimum six.
Marc Cohn, big superstar, 2005.
Massive superstar, sitting shotgun. And he was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pop a shot. I'm going to do a quick pop, and I'm going to get me this fucking van. Oh, yeah, it's going down.
Pop, pop. Yeah.
He needs that street cred. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Especially in the hardcore streets of Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
Probably the whitest place in the history of time.
In these mean streets of Denver. I got cred because I shot Marc Cohn.
So Yakteen apparently the Marc Cohn shooting, and we keep saying Marc Cohn, it's Marc Cohn, and I keep saying Cohn too. It's Cohn. So we're getting Yakteen and Cohn are all fucked up. So this was his third of 4 carjacking attempts of the night. So he never disclosed, and they never really go into exactly the events leading up to how he got to that point of at least trying to carjack a bunch of fucking people. But he's obviously trying to steal cars, and his main method of doing so is not going to break into an empty car and all this other stuff. He's just walking up to driving cars, pointing a gun at them, and then trying to carjack them. So he failed 3 times. Sorry, he failed 2 previous times to this. So he sees the van full of people. It starts to pull away. He walks in front of it, fucking pops a shot, apparently, because they weren't taking him serious, realizes what he did, and fucking sprints away to go carjack another guy like 2 blocks away.
Oh, my God.
Like, when you want a car, you find a car full of the most people.
Yeah.
You pop a shot through the windshield.
Yeah. So counterintuitive. There's a car full of people, 23 people. This might as well be a fucking clown car. I will try to carjack this.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
And so this is all drug fueled, and he's, he's got priors and all that. He's kind of I don't want to say a classic case, but he's somebody who was in the system, well known to the local PD. He's on some bender to get this car to go piece it out and whatever. Even if there's 25 people at this concert, there's got to be at least 12 cars. If everyone's a pair, there's got to be 12 cars in the parking lot, minimum, that aren't full of like 6 people and all their fucking shit. Like, there's so many other choices. And he's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to hit that van full of the most people I can find.
And if it's a touring van, as we've elaborated here, in a Econoline van, it's the largest fucking van by like at least 12 feet.
Yeah. So it's a land yacht worth of car that he's like, oh, you know what? A Toyota Camry, yeah, it's maybe worth something. But you know what? Ford Econoline, buckets of money because there's so much space. They're paying by the foot. That's what it is. They're paying by the foot.
I look at Econolines and Subway restaurants, they're the same fucking thing to me. Get a lot of money out of this van.
Look, I still want to believe this is a Chevy Astro van, the van that can.
Again, I did not get, I don't think they specify specifically, but it is obviously some giant van full of fucking people. So this guy's whole thing is fucked. And yeah, he goes and carjacks a guy, and it seems obviously awful. I'm sure that guy was like, you smell like gunpowder, dude.
You smell like you just shot Marc Cohn, dude. What the fuck?
You smell like you shot a guy in the head and amazingly didn't kill him. So it also speaks to how bad of a criminal he is, right? Like, he goes up to a van full of people, pops a shot in the windshield, and can't even kill anyone. Like, what are you doing? Either be a better criminal or fuck off and get a real job with the rest of us.
Oh, were you going to shoot me? Go kill yourself, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm going to keep playing remixes of Walking in Memphis. I'm going to do mashups. I'm going to do the whole thing because you're fucking bad at your job. You're bad at being a criminal.
I will let you reload the clip. Keep shooting, okay? And I'm going to just listen to Walking in Memphis the whole time. You will not hit me. If you do, it will not be fatal.
So 50 Cent has like some street cred for getting shot a couple times with 9mm, right?
Oh, yeah.
Marc Cohn got shot in the fucking head by some fucking cracked out dude in Denver. And no one talks about how gangster this man is.
Nobody says
I think that's bullshit.
Yeah. I think after 2005, August 7th, 2005, he should have gone strictly into hip hop. Left it all behind, turned it around, done the white guy with the do-rag. Bold, yes, especially a man that age. But he's got the cred now. He's got the fucking bullet in the side of his head. So Yakteen, he's a classic fuck up. I mean, he was just on a bender and was running the streets looking for a fucking car. Apparently, he's like, the carjacking thing was like nothing new. So here's the fun stuff. Police said Yakteen tried to steal the van, then forced 4 men out of another vehicle nearby. That's what happened. I apologize. It wasn't a guy. It was another vehicle chock full of fucking people. This guy's terrible at carjacking.
Okay, so yeah, you find literally the most packed vehicles to go carjack.
Did
Yeah.
these four dudes coming from the Marc Cohn
It doesn't say, but
concert?
God, I hope so. Because can you imagine them being like, man, I'm actually kind of mad we paid front row. You know what I mean? Like, it was such a small venue. Like, it doesn't matter where you sit. It's all front row kind of thing, but we paid the extra $50 a piece. It's kind of a pain in the ass. And then we get fucking carjacked and someone steals my Corolla right after the show.
Could you imagine paying for tickets to a Marc Cohn show and having him play anything other than Walking in Memphis?
Play it 12 times or I'm walking.
Yeah. I want to hear Walking in Memphis for the next hour and a half, or I'm fucking out of here. I want my money back.
Now, honestly, I would love to pay to go see Marc Cohn at this point.
Yeah. I don't know how you're not having a bigger career, Mark, if you're listening.
So the best part of this, and very frustratingly enough, I will say I looked very hard for this information. Apparently, Yak Teen jacks up these other four guys, takes off with his fucking Corolla. His girlfriend tried to hide him because prosecutors also charged her with some aiding and abetting charges, which I think did get convicted for. They had to, they find Yak Teen held up in a vacant house, and they have to, after a 5-hour standoff, they tear gas this motherfucker out of the house.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I tried to find more details on like what actually went down in the standoff, but I think that they were like, yeah, we think he's in there. Probably got on the megahorn and was like, hey, yo, Yak Teen, listen, dude, just come out. And then they got no answer, and they were like, all right. Let's wait a long time, and then we'll just throw a bunch of fucking tear gas in there.
We're about to tear gas this motherfucker. Let's just, you know what, just honestly shoot the tear gas in.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to him. Nobody wants us to end peacefully. I'm going to shoot this guy in the face.
This guy's name is Yak Teen. He tried robbing 2 cars full of a lot of people. He killed an American treasure, very close to Marc Cohn, okay?
Yeah. They at that point could think that he killed Marc Cohn. And if one of those guys was like, you know, he shot Marc Cohn tonight, they're like, oh, who's that? He's like, he did Walking in Memphis. Ice this guy. Yak Teen ice.
That's what I was saying.
That guy? Are you kidding me?
If I was like a gunman on that fucking squad, and it was like they try to kill Marc Cohn, like who the fuck's Marc Cohn? Walking in Memphis. Walking in Memphis? Are you fucking kidding me? Blow this guy off the fuck. I love how like all of our cop speak becomes like Northeastern.
Always, every time.
Blow this guy off the fucking planet.
Honestly,
Fuck this motherfucker.
Air support. Call in the air support. Get them in here. Nuke it. Nuke it immediately.
You know what?
I want dogs. I want gas. I want shock collars for whatever reason.
Put one on him. I don't give a fuck. You know what? Bring in Jensen. I want this guy sniped. I want to see him fucking shot in the head.
I'm going to see the eyes of the sniper on this motherfucker. That's what I want.
I want to call the shot and see his cross fall. That's where I'm at. So yeah, they gotta fucking tear gas Yak Teen out of this house. And guaranteed he comes out crying like a bitch because it's tear gas. So there you go. But
yeah.
You know,
I would like to say I have been inside of tear gas, and that shit sucks dicks. Right? I'm telling you right now, it's actually called OC gas or CS gas. And it is the worst fucking. It's like if Satan were to jack off onto your face, that is exactly what CS gas is. That's tear gas.
But that analogy tells me that you have knowledge of Satan's semen and its effect on the human body. How does one come to this knowledge?
We're gay lovers.
Oh, well, hey, there you go. Okay.
Next question, KY.
Honestly,
I'm really happy for you.
Justin, myself, and Satan, we went walking in Memphis, had a lot of dick while we did it.
Yep.
You know, I bet a super strong gay scene in Memphis that we're just completely unaware of because we're all straight.
We could very well seek repercussions because that gay community will come out and just harass us.
No, I hope there is. Somebody's got to be there combating all these rednecks calling people queers on the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want them to go out and fucking pick it. Screw that guy.
If you're out there and you're gay in Memphis, we love you. We love you.
So Yak Teen goes away. I don't know if I said this. He goes away for 36 years based on this night.
God damn, that fucking hurts my heart to hear.
Oh yeah,
That poor man.
yeah. So he's
I know he almost killed somebody. 36 years. You understand that life is 25 years. So
Right.
anyone who's actually fucking killed someone that day got less time than that now.
Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you this. Yakteen had a ton of priors, which is probably why he got the quote unquote book, right? But
Yeah, I'm sure that probably had a lot to do with it.
yeah,
He
yeah.
also had 19 counts against him.
Exactly.
Those will stack up against you.
They will.
It's true.
So prosecutors actually dropped the following charges in related to this. So they cut him a deal. They dropped second-degree assault. They dropped assault. They dropped aggravated robbery, attempted aggravated robbery, a second count of menacing, and first-degree criminal trespass.
They dropped all the bullshit charges for the regular ones.
That they were gonna pack those on, and they were like, "Listen, man, you're up for like 50 years, but we'll cut it down to 36. You know what I mean? Make it look sweet." His girlfriend, she got a felony accessory charge. I think it's because she wouldn't tell him what vacant they were in. She wouldn't help him get it out. She was helping hide him and all this shit. So they did drop those charges. So he quote unquote got a deal, but I mean, definitely the laundry list of stuff hurt him. And then on top of that, you do a 5-hour standoff and piss off the cops. Like,
Yeah. When they got to shoot tear gas at you, you know you fucked up.
Yeah.
because one of those fat fucks, and I don't know anybody in Denver, but one of those fat fucking cops missed dinner and was like, to the DA, bury this motherfucker. I'm a fan of walking in Memphis. I miss my wife's fucking lasagna. Kill this man. I don't
I'm
care.
not home for dinner right now. Guess what else I'm missing? Modern Family. Gas this motherfucker. Gas. Gas.
I'll tell you right now, any cop, most cops who are like on patrol are like good dudes. But when it comes to like the special guys that get to carry around tear gas or the detectives, they suck.
Yeah. The fact that Yakteen went out of his way to really piss off a bunch of cops who take it crazy serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was a danger also to to society at the time. I mean, he shot fucking Marc Cohn in the head and
Yeah, I know.
attacked 5 people. Like,
And that's the thing, like I imagine like the cop showed up, like some patrolman like showed up at his house, knocked on his door, was like, "Hey man, crazy story. Heard you might have shot Marc Cohn in the face." And he was like, "No, dog." Slam the door, put a gun to his face. Get the fuck out of here, cop. Fuck pig. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a different story.
I do think
Those are the dudes that Eckstein. Am I saying it right now?
nope, Yakteen.
Oh, fuck, Yakteen. I'm not going to get that one right, okay? It's a stupid fucking name. I don't care. He's the bad guy in the story. I can mispronounce it all I want. Yeah, he's a douche for doing that.
definitely Yakteen is someone, if you're just going out for what appears to be, and we don't necessarily know his motives, but from the story, just casual Grand Theft Auto, you're kind of a total asshole. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've gone from a guy who thinks it's cool and thinks he's a gangster, like walking around town doing like meth or drugs or whatever the fuck you're doing, and carrying like a unlicensed weapon right in your waistband. You're fucking, I'm cool, I'm a gangster. To be like a drug fueled rampage where you shot somebody in the fucking head. Again, you're a bad criminal. You didn't even kill him. And on top of that, you carjack 3 other. I'm just gonna say groups of people at this point because he loves carjacking multiple people.
Yeah, he picks literally the highest volume cars he can
If
find.
you got a minivan, his dick is hard to get that carjacked
Oh,
immediately.
there's a lot of people in that van. I am so hard right now. Let me go shoot into that van.
I want to shoot the fucking windshield. You know, like this guy, he obviously has to be taken off the streets. And then to go in again and just do the tear gas, put everyone through the fucking ringer. You're a prick and you deserve it. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. 36 years is fucking steep. And he was 27 years old when he was sentenced. So
Yeah, 36 years is a steep ass crime for not murdering anyone.
it is.
Now,
Again,
yeah, and you could look at it at attempted murder. You can put it like any light you wanted to put it at. And not to say that he doesn't deserve to go to prison. He certainly does. 36 years is a long.
it's a
Long. I'm gonna tell you right now, rapists, someone who like raped someone does not get 36 years. Okay.
No.
They're getting 10, 15 years. Now, who knows where Eckstein came from? Who knows? Someone correct me. What the fuck's his name? Yakteen. Okay, Yakteen. I knew it was coming. I can't do it. I don't know what the fuck it is with that name that fucks me up. Who knows where Yakteen came from and what like bullshit he had to deal with growing up. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, you shouldn't be getting your jollies off by just fucking launching projectiles into people's fucking cars at random, especially outside of the massive blown out show Marc Cohn did.
Marc Cohn live, obviously, that's going to be a banger.
Yeah, it's a massive show.
Especially in 2005, that might as well be a Kiss show meets T-Pain meets Usher meets Lady Gaga meets whatever you want to throw in there.
That's everybody.
That's what Marc Cohn puts on. Marc Cohn, if you're listening, I don't know how you weren't a bigger star.
That's right. We would love tickets anywhere you're playing. I will show them.
We're going to show up. But again, to emphasize Justin's point, if your idea of a good Saturday night is, again, casual Grand Theft Auto and just random discharge from your firearm, it's not great.
Not great.
You're not doing great things.
So an interesting thing I found about Yakteen. So he's still in prison in Colorado. His backstory, I didn't want to get too far into his backstory, but basically he did come East Coast. He came up, I think, in New York, and then moved out to Denver, and he was just a piece of shit. He did have a huge laundry list of convictions and shit in his past, which again speaks to the 36 years. As part of some, prison relation program or something like that, they published it's called Truth to the Door, which is publishing prisoners' letters online in the Denver prison system or whatever. So
that's how you know Denver is so hipsterish.
That's right. They're publishing his letters now. So what they did, so they're publishing the most recent one I found was from 2015. So 5 years old. Joe is quite vocal about his past. He seems sorry. Now I know that doesn't mean shit to Marc Cohn, who literally got shot in the fucking head because this guy was having a fun night. Like, it doesn't, you can't unring that bell of shooting someone in the fucking head. And then they survive and they're changed forever by it.
You're sorry? Well, I had a bullet in my fucking skull, asshole.
Yeah. But you know what? I wonder what he would say about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if this guy was like, hey, I didn't know you were in that van, and I'm sorry for shooting that bullet at you.
Right.
I'm real sorry I fucked your life up.
Here's an interesting thing. So Cohn was not in the courtroom for any of Yakteen's sentencing, none of his hearings, trial, nothing. So he pled guilty. He got the deal. So there was no like big open trial thing. For the sentencing hearing, Cohn wasn't there, none of that stuff. So if Yakteen gave a statement, which I couldn't find evidence of, Cohn never heard it. So maybe he's not interested in hearing it. Obviously he probably wasn't interested in going the fuck back to Denver after that experience. Yeah, so he seems pretty sorry. I personally think the only people that should be sorry are Joseph Yakteen's English teachers, because it was fucking horrible reading this.
So we've been talking about cutting my jokes. I'm telling you, that joke sucks, okay? That's so mean.
Dude, it was awful. If just Google, Ryan's laughing so hard because he's an English teacher, and I apologize, but holy fucking hell. Ryan is laughing so hard because he knows about 15 of his students right now who are the Yakteens of the future.
Yeah, Ryan knows 15 students. He had to mute his microphone right now. Ryan knows 15 of his students who are going to be in the court in the next year.
That's right. And Ryan, he's going to go through and be like, Devon, syntax. We talked about this. You can't change tense mid-sentence with these letters. You fucking idiot.
You all know. I want to change them all, but it's we got a tough task ahead of us sometimes in the school system to learn sentence structure, syntax, and proper grammar and that sort of thing. There are, as a teacher, I got to say this, I want all my kids to progress, but there is every year one or two kids where whatever they give me, okay.
Okay.
It's gonna be what you just gave me. This is fine. This is gonna be I know how the system works. I know how things are going to go here. Just this is what we're going to do, because it's impossible to figure out what's going to make you work in the classroom today or any day, or really every day you show up to class is a fucking nightmare for me. So I'm just going to get through here, and we got it. Okay, that's what's happening.
Yeah, Yakteen was clearly one of those people. And so, but in his letters, he actually, so I don't want to say that that there's like zero intelligence, right? Like he misspells words and that kind of stuff. And honestly, as a generation of spell check, I'm kind of fucked too. I always misspell believe. I can't spell restaurant. Get fucked. I don't care who knows it. Thank you.
Both of those words are terrible, honestly.
Yeah, look, I thought about getting the word necessary tattooed on my forearm. Every time I got to spell that fucking word necessary and because. I don't know why. But, as a guy who's shooting up cars as they drive by, probably doesn't give a fuck about what the ENA goes.
Yeah.
No. So anyway, yeah, if you get a chance, you want to giggle, read the letters. Now, I will say the content isn't awful, right? Like he goes on one of these, every other paragraph is just pontification about like, I don't believe in God, but whoever's controlling the universe, they control me, and I don't pray, but I went and I prayed today, and I prayed for my grandfather. He was really close to me. We were tight. We were tight back. He basically raised me, and I feel really bad that he's looking down on me now, and I'm in prison these days. But whatever. Back to the first thing. So, and I wrote this letter, and like I just feel a lot better about it. Very little punctuation, some misspelled words, but not necessarily. A second grader put this thing together. It's just that you don't hear a lot of taking responsibility for your actions. I feel bad because what these people did, and bless these people who work the prison populations, because I do think love needs to be in the prisons for sure. But the poor people who had to type these letters up, they put them as these like word posts. I went through and I looked and compared where he missed punctuation to where they added the punctuation in the actual text that they typed. Yeah. It's pretty bad. He spelled discovery with like a Y, and I was like, honey, who hurt you? You don't remember? You don't remember the I's and the Y's? Very few Y's. Always default to an I. Are you kidding?
I mean, if there's one thing that I've learned from the story, is that it is the universe's fault that Marc Cohn got shot.
It's true.
It is a little bit.
He had it coming.
Anyway, so I have come up with an alternative reason why Marc Cohn was shot that night.
All right, let's hear the backwards weird jump through the hula hoops. The reason why Jelly thinks that Marc Cohn got shot that night.
A co-headliner of the concert was a woman named Susan Vega. Now, yeah,
sure.
Right. So she was headlining as well. And so, they probably did duets and some other of this bullshit, right? Because they're both like kind of has-beens. I watched Susan Vega.
Very talented if you're listening. He means you're both very talented.
Also very talented. I watched the music video, and I Googled Susan Vega, and the top most watched music video of hers on her own channel on YouTube was Left of Center. And I plead someone to watch it and tell me that they enjoyed themselves. It is nigh unwatchable. It's terrible. So in the way that Walking in Memphis is like very 90s, very 80s, 90s transition period, this was like they leaned into both at the same time harder than ever. So it wasn't in black and white, but they had a male bassist with a 90s mullet, hands down mullet, no arguing it. They had a dude lead guitarist with no less, I'm not even kidding you, rewatch this is pre-COVID. This guy had at least 2 kerchiefs on, minimum 2 kerchiefs on. They had a keyboardist. You look at this guy and you shake your head because you're like, he's too many stereotypes at once. And lady drummer, who had a black turtleneck on. Now, I have nothing against female drummers. I have nothing against anybody who's an actual musician because I have zero musical talent whatsoever. But if you're an actual drummer who's serious about your craft, no fucking way are you sitting around in a turtleneck. You are working so fucking hard. This chick is obviously not doing shit.
I guess if it's a little bit lighter, perhaps.
So
ventilated
the
room.
theory goes that because Susan Vega had a gap and because she whisper sings every fucking one of her songs like Billie Eilish, you know, maybe Yak Teen caught that, a duet or something, and was so taken aback by it that, in fact, he had to shoot Marc Cohn in the head. That's right. So theory number 2 is going to be a surprise to everybody. I got wind in one of my Google searches that Lebanon Joe was somehow connected to Joseph Yakteen. Turns out Lebanon Joe is Joseph Yakteen's rapper street name from the early 2000s.
Okay, wait, let's back up. Who the fuck is Lebanon Joe?
Lebanon Joe is Joseph Yakteen. It's just his, you know, his Denver underground unknown rapper name is
Mean Streets
Lebanon
of
Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what will surprise you. First things first, I hit the MySpace paywall, which I didn't realize was a thing now. For some reason, you can't access old MySpace pages without paying or registering or some freaking shit. So the only place...
Let's start with MySpace is still in existence. I think that's important.
A version of it, kind of. I mean...
Are you telling me that I still have a MySpace out there with like a wall of like goofy shit and my theme song on it?
As Connor can surely attest, nothing on the internet ever dies.
Absolutely.
So it is
there forever.
It's there in some version.
Do you guys remember your MySpace wall?
Oh yeah, mine was all about the Dark Knight. All about the Dark Knight Rises.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember that.
Anyway, so so Lebanon Joe got a MySpace. There might have been something on there, but I couldn't find it. And it tells you how popular he was that literally when I searched all of Google, all the power it has, when I searched Lebanon Joe, there was just that one MySpace link and then nothing else. It's just all Lebanon and people named Joe.
This is Joe from Lebanon.
Yeah. A bunch of like very good looking doctors, dentists, physicians, people who are promoting their businesses named Joe and from Lebanon or Lebanese food and Joe. But yeah.
Lebanese and Joe.
So it could have been that Marc Cohn was a bitch ass snitch and got shot on the streets by Lebanon Joe.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it makes me wonder. Like, if you're the guy, tell me his fucking name again.
Joseph Yakteen.
Yakteen. I'm never gonna remember that.
None of those are being cut out. Everyone does need to hear how many times we have to be corrected on that name.
Yeah, look, there's no.
Let's be fair, it is a stupid name.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you're Joseph, what's his name?
Yakteen.
Yeah, Yakteen. If you're Joseph Yakteen, you've pretty much resigned yourself to being the guy that shoots some nobody in the fucking head.
Whoa! Marc Cohn doesn't need to be dragged into this.
Marc Cohn, you are fantastic. We don't know how you're not a bigger star. Again,
come to my house and play me music. I will pay you some money-ish.
Yeah.
Something.
No. Marc Cohn, I want you to just play. Like we said before, I just want to hear "Walking in Memphis" for 12 fucking hours straight. Okay, I want to hear about that one time you were walking in Memphis and was great. That's what I want to hear. Okay, and then when Joseph Yakteen shoots you in the fucking head, you can make some great stories about that.
So the last little fact I have. So Marc Cohn, he unfortunately was married to Elizabeth Vargas of ABC, the news anchor lady. They were married at the time. She was obviously very worried, but he's fine, so they were fine. She came out a few years after this, a few years after leaving her job at ABC and kind of coming out of the spotlight. She released a book about how she was an incredible alcoholic the entire time she was on TV.
Yeah, super duper.
And they got divorced in 2014. So Marc Cohn, he's on the mean streets, trying to just rack some bush off those number one hits, you know?
Yeah. Also, still sliding around, trying to get that snatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm walking in Memphis, but I'm looking for your snatch. I think that's the title of his next track.
I think that's it. That's gotta be it. Because the thing is, I don't know what else it could be. There's nothing.
I really don't. I'm walking in Memphis. I've been shot in Denver. I'm looking for your snatch. I think that's really his autobiography.
Nothing else matters.
That's why I want to see the new Marc Cohn with a fucking hole in his head, rocking out on stage with something new, based on his horrible experience with Yak Team.
Yep. Think of Yak and Ovaltine.
Yeah, think Yakety Yak Ovaltine.
Yakety Yak Ovaltine. That's the name of the podcast now. The name of the episode. The whole thing is Yakety Yak Ovaltine.
Yakety Yak Ovaltine. Yeah, there's no fucking. I'm not gonna remember it. It's just fuck that guy. He's got a stupid fucking name. Fuck him. He deserves the 36 years just for his name.
It's not his best effort for a name. That's true.
Not his best effort.